Hello, everybody. My name is Josh Yoder, and this is the Josh Yoder Show. Today, my guest is good friend and mentor, Brian Carson. What's up, Carson?
Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Oh, man, thank you so much for coming back on my show.
No problem, anytime.
Yeah, man, and you're definitely someone that's here for today's topic, and that's some sports. Well, more specifically, I should say, sports and money, because, well, this college sports is officially over now with Oklahoma pulling off the upset with the College World Series.
They pulled off the upset, but kept the string going. That's the seventh straight national championship in baseball for the SEC.
I think this is the second year Oklahoma's in the SEC.
Um, yeah, second or third.
Yeah, so they haven't been in it very long, but yeah, like you said, the SEC's just they've been dominant in baseball, especially.
Yeah, you're seeing that. There's basically they say the big four in, but it's basically two power conferences, and that's the Big Ten and the SEC. They count the Big 12 and the ACC, but they're really not.
Yeah, and it's getting kind of concerning too, and it's kind of leading into my topic today with you. And the SEC and the Big Ten, like the Big Ten, holy moly, they have been dominant in college national championships this year, especially. Holy moly, basketball with Michigan, the UCLA won in women's basketball, and then you got Indiana winning football. Yeah, it's pretty much a power two conference right now, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, the ACC, I would put third, but they, like North Carolina made it in baseball, and Miami made it to the championship in football. They're there, but it's basically Big Ten SEC. I put ACC third. The Big 12 to me isn't even a major conference anymore, except for Texas Tech and their NIL money they're spreading around everywhere.
What is Texas for you? Texas has got a lot of money.
Well, Tech is, and it created the Brendan Sorsby thing that stained college sports for a while.
Yeah, because the NIL stuff wasn't already there, but yeah, what he did was just ugh.
Yeah, nobody's going to touch him right now because he didn't show any signs of remorse uh, or apology or anything. And it's a no-no. You can't bet on sports. That's one of the hallowed rules. You just, especially your own team, and it's gonna. The NFL didn't want them. Um, NCAA didn't want them. The CFL didn't want them. They said no way. The only one that said they would accept them is the UFL, and that's not until next spring. So Brendan Sorsby's got to find something to do
oh,
until the until the until next spring.
I'm sure he's got plenty of stuff to do, and with the money he has anyway. So I think
Yeah, he'll probably sue everybody.
well, yeah, which would be unfortunate, but which I don't even know why he's going to the UFL probably. So it's not like he's not going to make any money.
Not like he would in the NFL.
Yeah, but still, he might try to use that as some kind of platform. You know how it is.
Yeah, UFL's like a what $500 game check.
I'm not sure, but
The way he gambles, he won't even have food money.
yeah. Do you think he'll stop, or do you think he's going to keep going?
I don't know. Once you're not. I mean, if he really wants to stop, you can. But if he has this addiction, and I think we label everything addiction anymore, which is, you know, not everything's an addiction. Um, I think they say gambling is. I say it's a weakness. You're trying to win something for nothing. It's the thrill of it. I guess that can be addictive, but he's got I don't know. The thing that would concern me if I was an owner of a team in any league is that instead of showing signs of remorse, he tried to sue to get back in. So it's like, yeah, at least even if he didn't want it to look that way, that's the way it looks. It's like from Sorsby's end, oh, yeah, I gambled, but I don't care. I still want to play, and you better let me play.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know. And the thing I'm kind of worried about too when it comes to something like that, because you got all these gambling sites too. Do you think that might encourage? Not to mention, didn't the NBA have a major betting scandal and all that stuff?
Yeah, Terry Rozier and a couple guys.
Yeah, like they're talking hundreds of millions of dollars, and I'm like, geez, like
Well, pro and college sports allowed it. I mean, you look at all the commercials on a game, any game. I don't care what it is, what sport. You'll see stuff for DraftKings and FanDuel and BetMGM.
yeah.
You can't open Pandora's box and expect it not to come back on you.
Well, and the thing too that I'm also worried about is, do you think because like when we're going to dive more into it too, but like the NIL and like all these high money and all that stuff, do you think sooner or later a lot of these sports things are just going to be like, you know what, yeah, just if you want to bet on your team, just go for it. Like, do you think that they're going to eventually like legalize that then too?
I don't know. And I think you got to set a rule on gambling because of, especially on your own team, because if if you're a key person in that game and you gamble on it to like either win or lose, that's a big deal. You can throw the game.
Yeah, you can definitely throw the game and all that stuff too, but I don't know, just with how
They can't ever let a rule in that it's okay to gamble in sports, not the players. If an individual, a fan wants to, heck, go ahead, but not the players.
I know, but it's just like with how things are changing and change isn't always good, but do you just think because like, oh, well, you're violating people might say, oh, you're violating their rights and blah blah blah. And do you think that could possibly make a
Oh, there
case?
might be people that try to sue or want to sue, but I think sports are going to stay with this. I think there's going to be no gambling, none.
Hopefully it won't because it's it is I'm not gonna lie, it is kind of hard to like really root for a team anymore nowadays with how this NIL stuff's kind of really changing college sports and just sports in general. And you got the transfer portal and all that. And it's like what we kind of mentioned earlier, like the SEC and the Big Ten are kind of the big two conferences. And we kind of talked about it before where I think it was you, Carson, that said about how like they want to expand the playoffs, and a lot of those teams and a lot of the conferences that are saying it are the Big Ten and the SEC, so they can get more teams.
Yeah, that's exactly who this expansion is for. I mean, they're not satisfied with 4 teams. Hell, they want everybody. Yeah, it's like, hey, Wisconsin is 7-6. They should get in. Geez, they played a tough schedule. It's bull.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know, and that kind of leads to like my concern, and I guess what my question to you is: do you think a lot of this stuff is getting out of hand?
It's not getting. It's already out of hand.
That's kind of what I'm.
I don't know if they can do it without a collective bargaining agreement, but um, college sports. They did this year with the new rules, 5-5, does away with the red shirts, medical red shirts, and guys staying 7-8 years in college. That's good. That's good, but it's only a start. They need to put a cap in on how much you could spend on NIL, and they need to put a rule in that a kid can only transfer one time. Because you're seeing kids play 4 or 5 teams. You know that.
Yeah, within their college career. And it's like, but at the same time, though, we talked about like the 2 big conferences, they got all the money and they can just throw money around like crazy. And it's like, how can anybody in college sports compete with that? Like to me, it's just mind blowing that, you can just get all these conferences and, the rich get richer. And it's like, it's kind of like ruining the college sports for me. And it's hard to like root for anybody really at this point.
Yeah, well, that's why I think I'm for that. The 5-on-5 was a start. That's good. They need to get the cap, and they need to limit the amount of transfers a kid can have.
Yeah, because it's just the Wild West, and the sad part is we kind of, you, me, and Kenny all kind of like talked about it before, where it's like, man, people are just, it's almost like people were just at the ready. Like, you know what I mean? They were waiting to see if they can get it legalized for so long. And then when they finally got it legal, everyone just started going crazy and it just never got settled down yet. And I still don't think it has.
Right. Well, I think, like I said, I like this 5-on-5. There's no more red shirting, or what was really common is gray shirting, which I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I'm not actually.
Gray shirting is when a kid graduates high school.
Okay.
He knows what college he's going to, but he doesn't sign. He waits a year. The school he wants to go to, they get him a weightlifting plan, a workout plan, all this stuff, and then he signs a year later to the college. And say he was 19, they gray shirt him, and he doesn't start college till he's 20.
Jesus.
Now that's over. That is over. You got 5 years from the time you are 19, and you got to get out.
Well, and let me ask you this too. Like, is this implying to all sports?
All sports.
No, that's good. That's good. And also too, and it kind of, I mean, obviously as someone that never went to college, and always wondered what it'd been like, but I feel bad for a lot of those kids that are there trying to get an actual education. They're trying to, work, get their schooling that they may or may not be able to find right away, if ever. They're struggling every day. And, how do you think they feel about all this?
Right. I mean, but on the sports side of it, I mean, you'll be glad not to see like 28-year-old linebackers chasing high school, 19-year-old kids in college. With, because you got with the 5-and-5 rule, after 24, you got to be out. Out.
Right. And it's just, hopefully this could be the start of something. Do you think this is a good start, or do you think there needs to be more to put together?
More. I mean, as far as college sports goes, then it needs to get the salary cap in and get the what am I trying to say? The salary cap and oh my Lord, help me, Josh.
Well, you mean like transfer portals?
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this, Carson, if you don't mind me asking. Like, do you think this will, like, in a way, bring back like the time where, like, when a kid's getting ready to go to college, with all this information now and like rules ain't coming into play, do you think kids will start to actually like really focus on like where they actually would like to go to college? Or do you think they're just still going to be focusing on like trying to make it to like the big time and like the NFL or NBA, stuff like that? Do you think they're still going to be more worried about that, or do you think they're more like wanting to see where they feel comfortable with for college?
It could help some of the. I mean, it's gonna be. It's gonna hurt some of the bigger schools, like say wrestling, Penn State, Oklahoma State, because they could just and the old rules just hoard kids and wait for their red shirt and then put them in, and now that's going to change. I think a lot of people, a kid who maybe have been thinking about going to Penn State, but he knows he may not be good enough to start right away, won't go there. Since he knows he's only got 5 years, he'll go someplace else.
Well, I mean, I guess what I meant to ask is like, do you think they'd be more still focused on like, okay, well, like educational purposes, like like most kids, like they just go there, they may not even go there for an education, but now like they're thinking, oh well, maybe like I go here because I kind of like this program, so I can just go here and like say wrestle or football or baseball. You think that could help make a change?
Some kids will be like that, but most of your athletes are going to play sports. Get the NIL money and then get into the pros. Unfortunately, education is the last thing on their mind.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to say it's just some of them. We're not trying to say these people are like dumb or anything like that. We just saying like, oh, like what their whole like mentality is, like what their priorities are. But it just seems like more and more people are starting to become more focused on making the money instead of like maybe planning something for future reference.
Yeah. I mean, some will want to go, I think, for the education, but most of the athletes, no. They're going there for one thing and one thing only, to get noticed by NFL, NBA, whatever.
Yeah, do you think some of them may even like start leaving college sooner? Like, do you think most people would stay like in college for 5 years, or do you think they, as soon as they get a chance, they're gone?
Nah, hell, that's over. And that stuff, except in wrestling, where except for freestyle and that, there really isn't a pro thing. RAF's here now, but it's still not lucrative enough yet. Um, no, most of the big sports, football, basketball, these kids will be, basketball it's 1 year, football they got to stay for 3.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just become like the Wild West, and like I mentioned earlier, it's getting tougher and tougher to like really get behind something, and like you're like you want to be a fan, but it's like, can you really be a fan of the team anymore? Because like everyone seems to be switching all the time, and I just want to see some good football or just some good sports like baseball and lacrosse. It just I don't know, just everything seems to be about money anymore. It's kind of hard to really get behind like one group, I guess, or one
Yeah,
team anymore.
yeah, I understand. The other thing about it is loyalty to a team is gone, because it used to be, who would be on the team, you know?
Yeah,
And it's just like pro sports now. Um, College, you at least knew 4 years you'd have that team. Now, NIL, every year it's a different team. Different.
yeah, yeah, and like that, your point, like there's been a couple kids, and like there was the kids in like the NFL draft, like they showed like, oh, this is who they played for like the last 4 years, and they played for like three different teams. And I'm like, what? It just
Yeah.
it just blew my mind. And yet, and of course, they probably would get in trouble, but like the reporters, they would never bring it up. I'm like this kid played for 3 different teams. Like, no wonder no one paid too much attention to him because he was always changing.
Right.
And so it's like, man, like, I don't know. It's just, it's getting tougher and tougher to watch sometimes because, like, you just know that a lot of these people are making a ton of money. And I don't know. It's just, it's hard. It's hard to describe, to be honest with you, Carson, because I don't really know what to think about it anymore.
Right.
And like, and that kind of brings me, because you kind of mentioned the pros and all that stuff too. Do you, when it comes to like, say, like pro sports anymore, do you think, a growing concern of mine is like, again, like talking about people throwing so much money around, like, do you think it's sustainable anymore? Especially with like raising prices and people having a tough time even wanting to go to games and all this other stuff. Like, do you think like this could be like a profound effect on pro sports as well?
Sadly, I believe no, because there's sports is always going to have rabid fans. It's always going to have people that owners that want to spend the money. You can't blame the players for taking the money. And no, I think it's just. I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous. What you're seeing is these major players are getting this money. Most of them aren't. They're still making more than an average person will ever see. But the big money's only going to a few people.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to make it sound like these people are bad people. I'm not trying to say that, but it's just somebody is like also got to be in the room. But it's like, is this? Can we sustain this, or is it? Can we still make the business profitable? Like, and it's like, and me, I like sports. I wouldn't mind going. I would like to see a game live, but when I look at some of the prices, I'm kind of like, is this really worth it?
Right.
And I don't know. It's tough to see sometimes, and I like to play sports games, and some of the things even there, I'm kind of like, man, like just they're seeing all these people making all this money, and it's like, man, what do you do? Like, it's like I kind of agree with you. I don't blame the players necessarily, or the owners do that, but it's like at some point somebody's got to sit there and say, like, don't you think we're getting a little carried away with some of this?
Oh, hell yeah. But like I said, there'll always be fans. They'll show up. The only thing that hurts a sporting league is a strike.
Hmm.
The fans get pissed. Baseball, it took almost a decade for it to come back. And now they're probably going to go on strike next year.
Oh, really? What? Like what?
Really? No, you might not see baseball in 2027
That
because the owners want a salary cap.
and the players
And the
who
players are going nuts saying, no, 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 no.
so they're upset that they're still going to make more money than any of us will ever dream of. Because if I remember correctly, Bryce Harper chewed out the ML, like the baseball commissioner.
Yes.
Oh,
And
jeez.
it's going to be that bad because they will strike for this. The players do not want a salary cap. And the owner said it's the only way. The small market owners said it's the only way that we can compete.
Well, yeah. It's tough enough because obviously there are owners that are only in it to try to make money. They're not actually trying to make good
Right,
baseball
and
games.
here's the good thing for those owners, and we know who they are, who are just trying to make money. The cap also and the high end, what you can't go over, but there's also a minimum cap. A
Oh, really?
minimum. Yes, the owners want that the small market teams. I think it's right now 100 and they can't spend less than 170 million.
Hmm.
Because right now, my Nationals, I know them. Their payroll is 98 million. They would be forced to go up into the 170 million, or and it's a big penalty. They would lose if you don't comply. You'd lose draft picks.
Ooh. Do you think that's a fair punishment, or do you think that's over?
Yeah, you'd use draft picks and get fined,
Hmm.
and that's if you go over the cap too. So there's really going to be two caps. The most you have to spend, and the most you're allowed to spend.
Do you think that that would help create strategies for GMs and all that?
Yeah, well, you look what the salary cap has done for football.
They're able to. Do you think it helps like create like bring
Yeah,
in?
there's parity in the league. There's teams that small market teams in the NFL can compete with the big boys.
Yeah, and I think that's smart too because it helps them like keep their stars and maybe even bring in someone else to help fill in gaps and all that stuff. And do you think the NFL has the best model right now of how to build teams?
Yeah, I do, without a doubt.
You know, because I often wonder that because like obviously not all sports generate a ton of money, but like, do you think like even like say like a lacrosse league, they're trying to build up teams? Do you think it could be the same model they could use compared to like the NFL and maybe like the NBA and baseball could get in on it too?
Yeah, in a smaller way. The NBA, what hurts them is the only penalties if you spend over the cap is a luxury tax. Teams that have money, it's all they don't care. It's not stiff enough. So people go in the NBA go over the cap all the time.
Yeah, but isn't there a rule that says you can?
Yeah, as long as you pay the luxury tax.
I'm trying to think of the rule. I feel like there's supposed to be like what is the bird rule or something like that? Or am I thinking of something different?
I think you're thinking of something different.
Oh, okay. But yeah, no, I just wanted that too because like people want to. I personally would love to be able to go to like a regular season game and you know check out some of the players and just watch, just have a fun time, because you could be busy and then you're like, well, I got nothing going on. It's like maybe I'll just go to a game and see what it's like. And then like hopefully maybe that do you think that will lower the prices or do you think people are kind of stuck with the prices where they're at?
Now prices aren't going to lower.
You don't think so?
No. And if they do lower them, they'll just raise the concession stand prices.
Yeah, it's like if they'll say they'll lower this, but then something else will go up. I mean,
Yeah.
they're trying to compensate for something, which I think is sad. But I'm not the one in charge.
No, me either.
But do you think they could still? Do you think they worry about like still want to make a profit, or are they trying to make like a major profit, or like how does that? I don't know how does that some of that stuff even work?
With their TV deals and merchandising deals and just the attendance, they make a profit. They make a profit. The NFL in particular is a multi-billion-dollar business.
So like, are you saying they could still make a massive profit even if they actually lower prices and everything?
Probably not what they're doing. No. They're not going to lower prices as long as these salaries are going up.
Do you think that's the main thing too?
Yes.
Do you think it's like because I don't know, it's like there's got to be some sort of cap eventually, right? Because
Well,
I don't.
there already is in football and basketball, and they're just the only sport that doesn't have a cap is baseball.
And that might possibly change, but like you said, they're probably going to be on a strike.
Well, yeah, and I think what finally made the owner say, "All right, we need to get a salary cap," is the Dodgers.
No,
No, really. I mean,
I know. I know.
they won the last two World Series, and anybody they want, they just throw out millions.
Yeah, and we're not just talking about even in American players. They got they can go grab people from other leagues and other countries as well.
Right.
Like when I saw
So
some of the contracts that they had signed, I'm like, holy crap! Must be nice to have that kind of money.
yeah, it's gonna keep going. It's gonna keep rising
No,
because
that's
each person that gets a big contract, another good player is gonna go, well, hey, I'm just as good as him. I want that.
or like they'll get more because I know some players like they see a guy that they're like, I'm doing better than him. He's making that much. Well, then I want this. They'll go for more, and it's like that's why I guess I'm also like concerned about like the whole idea of like stability because like do you think like I guess like I don't want to see something just fall apart and crumble because people just want so much and where is the limit? Like I understand people want to make as much money as they can. I totally understand that. Don't blame anybody for that. But there's got to be like some degree or concern where people are like, man, like, do you think we should slow down with this?
Well, yeah, but I don't think it's going to. I think you're eventually going to see somebody have a like not spread out, obviously, but they're going to have a deal that's like $1 billion.
Ooh. Do you think do you think this could hurt like maybe professional sports leagues? Like, do you think this could like possibly like
No, because it hasn't hurt soccer, and there's players like Ronaldo make Cristiano Ronaldo makes 500 million a year.
ooh, that's insane.
Lionel Messi makes 250 million a year.
That's and don't get me wrong, they are great soccer players, but man, like for one person, like it takes a
Well,
whole team to do it. But I mean, I get
I
it.
I don't think Messi's as good as me, but
Oh, jeez. I think Messi's a much better soccer player than you,
I
Carson.
I challenged him once, and the chicken shit backed out. He
I
did
think,
this. He did the Roberto Duran thing in Spanish. No mas, no mas.
but I just, oh man, I still pick Messi, but still, I don't know, man. It's just been a growing concern of mine because I'm just like, people are gonna be so also like money hungry now because like, if say like a young kid that has a chance to like, make something in like say any sport, people are
Right.
just gonna start swarming.
Yeah, I agree.
So overall, Carson, if you don't mind me asking, is it fair to say that all these major sports leagues can survive, or do you think maybe some might crash while others?
Yeah, no, I think they can survive because, like I said, they'll the uh, the TV deals keep increasing. Um, that'll give them a ton of money. The merchandising, they're trying to expand the game overseas. There's more money there. Plus, let's face it, tickets will be more expensive. I mean, they'll eventually pass it on to us.
Yeah,
You can go watch a game and have that $12 hot dog.
yeah. It's just I don't know. It is getting a little tougher to like justify some of this too. But you mentioned about things coming overseas as well. Some people have made these claims like, and I don't know if they're true or not, but some people have made these claims where like you go to hotels and like you got one price, but then if there's like a big game or a special sporting event, like say,
Yeah, the World Cup's doing that. All the hotels and the fares, subways, and that went up big time because of the World Cup.
which is kind of weird because I was watching his YouTuber. He was sitting there talking about it, and he was saying like, "Oh, we had our stuff planned 6 months in advance. All of a
Oh,
sudden, their stuff somehow got
yes,
canceled."
yeah. They that there was ridiculous. Some of the World Cup prices I saw, it was just to fleece people because it's the World Cup.
Yeah, do you think even that's going to get? That's why I'm also like concerned about like a lot of these sporting events too. Like people keep doing that. Like even like up in Penn State, they had like depending on the team, like you would have like different like prices for different hotel rooms and for different games and all that stuff. I'm like, man, don't you think people are? Do you think stuff like that could hurt the leagues as well, or do you think people are just going to be like, well, we just might as well just pay for it because we want to see it?
And if you want a reaction to see if it would hurt, the World Cup, I watched the match today, and they said that so far to all the games, there's been 4.6 million fans show up. So obviously they don't care about the fees and the high prices. They're gonna come and see no matter what.
Yeah, because do you think it's the whole once in a lifetime opportunity?
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's like they can go say that, since it's every 4 years, they could say, hey, we got to see a World Cup.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's like I said, it's just a concern of mine because I just feel like a lot of these prices and it's getting harder and harder for me to like really justify it anymore. And I guess
Yeah,
I
I mean, for a lot of people, it is going to be. And I agree with you. And there's some people, though, that won't care. They'll spend no matter what because they want to, they want to see it. They want to see their teams. Um, it's the way it is. I mean, you know, unless you're the Pirates or something.
but despite all this negativity, I want to do talk about something positive that happened also during this past weekend. For the first time in the history of Penn State men's hockey, they got themselves a number one overall pick as Gavin McKenna is now an official Toronto Maple Leaf.
Yes, McKenna, number one overall pick. Uh, if you watched any of his games at Penn State, you could see why. You could see why. I mean, he's got the wheels. I mean, he can skate, he can shoot, um, he can get in the dirty areas and like take hits. Um, I could just before he gets to the NHL, you need that maturity. He needs to get bigger, a little bigger. And they'll do that. The Maple Leafs will put him in a weight training program, and
Well, to be fair, though, the kid's only 18, so don't expect him to be massive right away.
right. Uh, that's what I see. He needs a little bit of more bulk.
Yeah, he certainly.
And he'll be NHL ready soon. I think he'll be probably a year down in the minors, and then he'll be up.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see because I think Toronto would also be trying to build something around him as well. Because if you looked at him at Penn State, he had more assists than he did goals.
Yeah.
So he's a willing passer, and he probably wants to help move the puck around.
Oh yeah, they have visions of him feeding Austin Matthews.
That'd
Left
be
and right.
that'd be an interesting combination.
Yeah, I mean he's a surefire one. There's no doubt. The only thing he needs is some maturity and bulk. But yeah, it was good for Penn State. I mean, you knew he was only going to be a year when they got him. You knew that.
Yeah, which that's kind of a weird thing, but trying to be on a more positive side. Like that year, but it was an interesting year to say the least. I mean, they made it to the NCAA tournament. He was able to win major awards for, he was only a freshman and he finished fifth in the nation in points.
Yeah. I mean,
That's holy moly.
that shows you right there. And, I just liked everything about his game. I mean, Wayne Gretzky once said, you got to know where the puck is. You know what I mean? But you got to get there before the puck gets there. Like have that sixth sense. And he does. Some guys just have it.
Yeah, and to me, and of course, like Wayne Gretzky, if anyone knows hockey, it'd be him.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Many consider him the greatest of all time, and some even today's generation thinks he's probably the greatest of all time.
He is.
Oh, I'm not questioning it. I believe he's the best hockey player in the world ever. So I think he knows a thing or two. But
yeah.
But let's go back to like the history of Penn State hockey a little bit, because I remember them being the Penn State Icers. They were just in a club sport.
Yeah, they were a club team. And it was Terry Pagola who said, former Penn State alum, he played club for the Penn State Icers. And he paid for that building, like, I don't know, I forget, it was a ton of money. At Pagola Arena, if you've never been there, go. It's one of the best places to watch a hockey game. But he spent a lot of money, hundreds of millions on that thing. And Penn State got Guy Gadowski, which I think was the biggest thing they did. And, they went from being a club sport to the first couple of years in Division I, getting their lumps, taking their lumps, getting their asses handed to them. And now they're a legitimate top 20 program. Top 20 program every year.
Yeah, and they're certainly building up. I mean, and to be fair though, obviously wrestling's probably the biggest sport in this state, but do you think hockey's right up there?
Hockey is getting there. Penn State hockey's got a lot of followers. It's still not near the football and wrestling.
Well, the reason why I bring this up, because if you look at the recent success of like the Penguins and of course the Flyers, there's a lot of hockey in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's coming on. I think Pennsylvania is a great place for sports. We've got diehard sports fans that just support their teams, and you got to admire that. And that includes even all the way down to high school.
No, I definitely agree with that. A lot of
And PA is a good place to be. Uh, for if you're a team, because the fans are devoted. I mean, look, the Pirates lose year after year, and people are still there, still wearing their pirate gear, even though they aren't getting better this year.
no, and who knows how much longer that will take, if ever. But the Phillies historically have been pretty good, and then you got, of course, the Steelers and the Eagles. They're probably the two biggest franchises in the state.
Yeah,
But going back to the Penn State hockey, do you think this is like a sure sign of like how far this team has come? Excuse me, this program has come.
yeah, they're not gonna go back down to where they were. They are a legit top 20 club um, every year now.
And do you think
They made one Frozen Four. Um, they've been close to another. They're legit. And Guy can recruit, and also, and you got to give Penn State credit. They're willing to throw out that NIL money. They got a lot of boosters, a lot of alum who want to give. Just look at Terry Pagula.
Well, oh, absolutely, and not to mention he's like you said, he's a former Penn State alum, and he's the current owner of I think the Bills and the Sabres.
Yes.
And and also too, and this is just my humble opinion. I think with them having a first round pick, you think more kids would want to say like, "Oh wow, if that's going to be the case, maybe I want to play hockey at Penn State."
Well,
And
they got
possibly,
McKenna, so it proves they can get the big time guys.
well, do you think this could lead to more recruits being like, I want to go to Penn State and play hockey?
Yeah, and they all have the NIL money to give. Like I told you offline, they gave McKenna $500,000, $500,000 to come to Penn State for 1 year.
Yep. And do you think more and like that? I think more kids are going to show up. And do you think this could possibly potentially leave like Penn State hockey a shot at winning a national title in the near future?
Yeah, they have a chance. And here's something to think about. Not that he's going to do it, but just because he's drafted, if these kids want to, they can still play college hockey.
Yeah.
They can.
Do you think that will inspire like other places to like maybe set up some kind of hockey program to maybe get kids to go to Penn State? Maybe.
Yeah, I think Penn State's just going to get better and better in hockey, and they'll be able to get the players. They're doing it in all sports. I don't know if you saw lacrosse, men's lacrosse.
Yeah, I did a story on them. They had a pretty
They
cool
are
thing.
they are every year a legit top 10 team in the country in lacrosse. And they're another one where lacrosse used to be just a club sport.
Yeah, like the last, and it's really cool to see because I love lacrosse. It's probably one of my favorite sports. And honestly, I would love to have been able to try and learn how to play it. I've enjoyed it to this day. And to see where Penn State's come from, they came off their second Big Ten title in program history. They defeat Army in the first round, and they lost to Princeton in the next round.
The national champs.
Yeah, it took the national champs to beat them. So,
And in the regular season, they beat Princeton.
yeah, so like it is truly like you said, these were like former club sports, and now all of a sudden they're legit
Yeah,
contenders.
absolutely.
Do you think old wrestling has got some competition to see who's got the better team in Penn State?
No. No.
Dude, I mean, real quick, I mean, Penn State wrestling, whenever this run is over, it's it's got to be like historical. This might be the greatest dynasty in not
Yeah,
just
and even with the new rules that we talked about, it'll hurt them a little, but not much. It just means the kids that are really good aren't good enough to start there.
right.
Like, I am not joking about that. Joe Seeley could start for most college teams.
Absolutely.
He's a major wrestler. And at Penn State, he, he has to go against Mitchell Messenbrink.
And
Uh-uh.
Break's really good.
And last year, if he wanted to move up, it was Levi Haynes.
No way.
Haynes in his first year of really going freestyle just made the world team.
So you're saying he's good?
Yeah, and below Seeley was PJ Duke. So this kid is so good, but he has no place to be. And I think he's one that'll be out of there.
You don't think he's going to stay?
Because he's staying here this year. He might enter the portal whenever it opens up again. Because if he doesn't feel he's got a chance, he's good enough to start, why not go somewhere and start instead of being in the background at Penn State?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, it'd be cool to see that, but I can see why people want to play right away. But, it goes back to like what we talked about earlier. Do you think because of these new rules that you brought up and mentioned before, do you think kids are now going to be like, wow, maybe I should start thinking about these schools instead of that one? Maybe it'd be more realistic.
Yeah, I mean, the ones that are really good are still going to go, well, I can beat the kid. I'm going to Penn State, or I'm going to Oklahoma State. But it will open it up for some of the other teams that couldn't get these guys before. They'll probably be able to get some of them.
Yeah, so
like those lowly bums at Iowa.
Your favorite place in the world, huh, Carson?
Just when they lose. They were dominant for so long. They're such babies about it now when they lose.
It's bad enough that they kept getting smoked by Cale Sanderson as a wrestler, but now he's the coach. And dude, what he's done at Penn State is insane. I've never seen anything like it.
It's amazing.
Honestly, could you make the argument that Penn State wrestling, whenever it's over, this dynasty runs not only the best in wrestling, but maybe the best in any sport?
It's getting close. It's getting close to Gables, Iowa. It is. If you're talking about all-time great dynasties, this is one of them. And in this modern day, it might be bigger than Iowa's run. But you've got UCLA basketball with John Wooden.
Oh, classic.
And you got Gino Auriemma at Connecticut.
With the women's basketball.
Yeah. I mean, what UCLA did, I know, was less teams back then. But what they did was amazing. 10 national titles in 12 years.
Yeah, but honestly, I don't like that. I think that's kind of a lame excuse when people say like, "Well, it was a different era." And I say, "Well, yeah, but still, there
was less teams. I mean,
well, no, true. I get it, but it's at the same time though, like the amount of luck you have to maintain that. You could have easily had the same players, but then you had nothing but injuries to deal with. That could have derailed them. The fact that they're able to hang on for that for so long is insane to me.
But they won 10 in 12 years, and in those 12 years made 11 finals. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
One of the craziest dynasties that in recent history that I enjoyed and grown a lot of respect for was Nick Saban in Alabama.
Yeah.
What those guys were able to do, and this was pre, NIL era when he was doing it, and the fact that
Sure.
he was able to do it for so long is insane to me.
Yeah, and then when NIL came, he said, "That's enough. I don't want to do this."
Can you imagine how Saban would be if he was in it?
Oh yeah, but he didn't want to do that game.
No, I
He didn't,
don't.
he didn't want to pay kids to come there. Like he said, you either want to play for Alabama or you don't.
Well, let me ask you this, Carson. In today's world with NIL, all this money being thrown around and people wanting to play right away, be stars, I get it.
Yes, I would take it.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think it's possible to maintain a dynasty run? Do you think we'll ever have like dynasties like that ever again?
Truthfully, this is probably not what you're going to expect. I think
Okay.
NIL makes it easier to have a dynasty.
You think so?
Yes. You can pay. Back then, it was illegal. You could pay kids to come. You got the money, like Ohio State and those guys. You could have a dynasty.
Do you think Indiana could pull that off in
I mean,
football?
yes. I mean, I'm not saying that Kurt Signetti isn't a good coach, but it freaking helped that he had uh, a lot of his kids from James Madison in the transfer portal and then the NIL. How do you think Indiana turned around so fast?
Well, I wouldn't say they turned around. I think they just started because historically they weren't very good.
They were the worst team in college football record wise over a lifetime. And then all of a sudden, Signetti comes in 2 years that they have back-to-back 12-win seasons and win a national title. And that's all NIL and transfer portal. So, yes, I think it makes having a dynasty easier.
Do you think there could be potential? Who do you think could have the potential to be the dynasty in football?
Because back then you had you had to be creative to cheat. you, had to, you had to do it quietly.
Now it's out in the open and it's okay now.
Like, honestly, you don't think UCLA didn't cheat to get Bill Walton and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Come on.
Do you think? Do you
You
think
know
it's?
they did.
Do you think it's the NIL era that it's just like signifying that, hey, everyone's doing it? Because I remember
Yeah.
back in the day. Do you remember SMU?
Oh, hell yeah.
Like
They gave Eric Dickerson cash and a Trans Am.
Well, the point I'm getting was I remember watching a documentary and they said TCU would get slammed for violations, but the problem was they only ever won 3 games.
Yeah, I mean,
So just because you spend a ton of money doesn't mean you're going to get success.
honestly, that's minor today.
Yeah.
Minor.
That's kind of the sad part.
Dickerson said they gave him, I think it was $50,000 in cash and a gold Trans Am. Today, a player like Dickerson is getting 5, 6, 7, 8 million in NIL money.
Yeah, he ain't getting that 50 grand.
No. And yeah, so I think a dynasty is actually easier now. Who do I think in football could be one? Indiana, definitely. Ohio State with all their money. Texas, but somehow they always screw up. So, and I hate to bring their name up now. The Sorsby thing didn't work, but look at Texas Tech. Texas Tech was another team that went nowhere in their history, and last year with all the chancellor of the school bragging about they spent $20.5 million for the football team, and they won the Big 12 and made it to the NCAA, the tournament.
Yeah, well, you could say that about a lot of the Texas schools. They can probably make a run with start dishing out the money.
It's not going to be easy. I don't want to say that, like, also when I say it's easier than it was back then. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to happen, because you have to have the right coach and get the right players with the NIL and the transfer.
Yeah, well, and I was actually going to bring that up. I think, you can have all the money in the world, but you still got to have like the coach and also the system. If you don't have players that match your system, it's not going to work, no matter how much money you spend.
Yeah.
So you still think coaching can be important for these kids?
Oh, yeah, it has to be.
But I guess, well,
you can't put a team of superstars together, NIL money and transfer portal, and have me coach them. They ain't gonna win shit.
Yeah, it's well, I don't know. It's definitely an interesting time that we live in, and overall, I guess, do you think there can be something good come out of this?
I don't know. It's all slimy. I mean, you got coaches or even bigger slimes, and I'll name them, Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin is a slime.
I'm still so confused on what he did to Old Miss. I don't understand it. I'm like, wait, you guys made they literally made the college football playoff. They have a shot at a national title, and they could have possibly won it, but he just left. Just
the one I honestly like is Trinidad Chambliss.
And who's he coaching?
No, the quarterback for Mississippi.
Oh, okay.
Who could have gone pro, but he stayed for I don't know, 6th or 7th year. That won't happen anymore. But he was at Ole Miss, and Lane Kiffin thought he was going to come right over to LSU. And Chambliss said, I'm an Ole Miss guy. This is where I wanted to go. This is where I'm staying.
No, that was cool to see, but it's still, I still don't understand it. I still don't understand the move. But let me ask you this, Carson. How do you think the smaller schools that don't have the money or the resources to pull off, do you think there's a way they can compete?
No. That's the sad part. Unless they find a booster that can inject money into their program and is like a Pagola and has money to burn. No. That's the ones that hurt. The little guys, the bigger guys are going to get bigger, like the SEC and the Big Ten, and some teams in the ACC, and the smaller teams are going to get smaller and not be able to compete.
Do you think there's going to be a way? Do you think the NCAA may be forced to try to help find a way for them to be able to compete?
Well, I mean, it won't be as many, but there's always teams. Like, look at last year with James Madison making the college football playoff.
Right. Do you think they'll have something like that again, or do you think this might have been like a one-time deal?
Well, no, I mean, I think the NCAA is always going to want. Now, last year was 2. the way it turned out, James Madison and Tulane. But I think they're always going to want at least one team outside of the power conferences get in.
Right. And do you think also maybe like I know some places like to be like independent in football and other sports as well. Do you think this
They're
stuff?
dead. They're dead if they don't get in a league.
Do you think so?
Yeah, that's what hurt Notre Dame last year.
Yeah, and to be honest, and they had a pretty potentially national championship team as well. Of course, it's all
But
hearsay.
they got punished for not being in a league. Because when you're not in a league, when you're an independent, it's not like everybody else now. You could lose like 2 in a conference and still win the conference. You
Right.
know? Notre
Right.
Dame, every game is important, and they lost that head-to-head with Miami. Miami got in, Notre Dame didn't.
Yeah, and it definitely caused a bit of
Notre Dame needs to stop being so damn arrogant and get
No, I
get into a conference. They think they're bigger than college football. Yeah, back in the 40s and 50s they were. They're not anymore. They're a good team, but there's a lot of good teams.
Well, let me ask you this though too. Because I know I thought it was cool to see the small guys like Tulane and James Madison get in. Unfortunately, neither one really played well in those playoff games. But do you think this might incite people to like, how do I want to put this? Do you think they say, okay, we got a chance now, but we got to still prove ourselves? And do you think maybe those teams could come in and play harder and maybe have like a better shot?
Yeah, there's going to be one. There is going to be one. Those two teams, yes, James Madison and Tulane got blown out. But
yeah, I was trying to be nice about it, but I guess there's no other way around it.
No, there'll be a team that'll come in.
Well, maybe we can talk about in the future too as we get closer to college football. Maybe we can discuss a potential dark horse team that could make the playoff.
Yeah. But that's it. I mean, if Notre Dame doesn't want to join the world and be in a conference, then let them cry, because that's what's going to happen. It's this arrogance that they have in football. They're in a conference in every other sport except for football.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I know most of them they're ACC, and I think hockey they're Big Ten.
Hockey's Big Ten. The rest are ACC. Football, even though they play an mostly ACC schedule, they're independent.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how next year will go, but that's not for a couple of months. But then again, it's probably going to be here sooner than we know it.
No, but I hope some of the big higher ups at Notre Dame realize, hey, not being in a conference now in football is hurting us. It's hurting us.
Do you think it could help if they, have, I'm not saying like a ton of like, how do I want to put like a ton of like nationally ranked opponents, but do you think if they are going to stay with independent, which who knows in the near future, but do you think if they have higher like seeds going into their schedule, do you think that could help?
I'll tell you what they should do, but they won't.
All right.
Because it would be a hell of a lot tougher. They need to join the Big Ten.
Well, that would make sense though, because like, they're actually in Indiana, so they wouldn't have to travel as far.
But the Big Ten's hard.
Oh, no, it is without question.
And Notre Dame likes, how do I put that? The soft ACC.
Well, if that's the case, don't you think they should just join the ACC then?
Yeah. I think they should join the Big Ten, but if they do join the conference, it'll probably be the ACC.
Well, it was to me, and this is just my humble opinion, but The Big Ten I can say makes sense. The ACC can make sense too because most of their conference is in the ACC because ACC don't have hockey. So it'd probably make more sense to go to the ACC, but I can totally see the Big Ten making sense as well. But let me ask you this though too, because you talked about like the expansion and all that stuff. Do you think many teams could still get in, but mainly because they compete in the Big Ten or the SEC?
Well, I'm sorry. What was the question again?
The question is because you mentioned it earlier about the playoff expansion, and the Big Ten and the SEC are the ones that are pushing for it. Do you think teams like that could still get in the playoff even though they didn't win their conference, or do you think they'll go like runner up as well?
Yeah, they'll get it. They want to have the Big Ten and the SEC are greedy. If they could, they'd have every team in their conference in the playoffs. I'm serious. And that includes UCLA, who was 3-9 last year. Yeah, put them in. They beat Penn State.
Well, do you think like schools like USC and UCLA could potentially make a run because they're out in sunny California and they got
it all comes down right coach, right structure, and how you handle the NIL and portal. That's what it comes down to. Anymore. And UCLA got a guy, Bob McChesney. He was the James Madison coach last year, who's really changing the culture out there with NIL, with recruiting. For the first time in like 25 years, UCLA has a top 20 recruiting class.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Watch out for the West Coast.
And that's McChesney, man. And USC, Lincoln Riley brought in a monster recruiting class. But it's the Big Ten. And it's hard. It's hard because you have Indiana and you have Oregon, who are juggernauts.
And who knows, Michigan might be kind of a sleeper.
And you got, and I left out Ohio State, Michigan, Washington. There you go.
Well, do you think how do I want to put this? Do you think it would be easier, say, like the Big Ten obviously is getting stronger. Do you think it's going to be easier for people to be like, okay, here's the West, here's the East, and then whoever wins those two divisions will be in the championship? Do you think it's going to have to come down to that?
No, I think they want a playoff. I mean, it's money. I think 24, though, is too damn much. What I think is do what the Division II and Division III do. 16 teams.
We're at 12, right?
We're at 12 right now. Add 4 more. After 16, they don't need to go. And yes, you'll have somebody like 17 or 18, bitch. Who cares? Win more, and you'd have got in.
Yeah, that's usually the mentality most people should have, but unfortunately,
they didn't seed last year, and regardless of weak conference or not, I think it should be the 4 champions go of the ACC, Big 12, Big 10, SEC, and they get the number 1 seeds. So they have buys.
No, I agree with that because I think the conference champions should definitely get in. But I think also too, but again, I feel like this also kind of rewards the 2 power conferences and the SEC and Big Ten. But I think, and this is just me, I think what they could do is put the champion, and then you got the runner up in the championship, and then maybe try to fill in that way. You know what I mean? because like holy crap, it's tough enough just to get to the conference
Yeah,
championship.
I think it waters it down. My big gripe against it, if you put 24 teams in,
Right.
and most of them will, like a lot of them will have 3-4 losses. They don't deserve to be in. You put 24 in, it waters down the regular season. The regular season should still mean something. If you have 24 teams, it's like, all we have to do is just get by, go 9-3 or something, and we'll get in.
Yeah, that is
To
a
heck with
concern.
that. To heck with that. It waters it down.
No, I agree with that because honestly, I see not just in all sports, really, a lot of people are putting less and less emphasis on the regular season, and I'm like, to me, again, it goes back to like what we talked about before with people wanting to pay money for things. It's like, why don't we just start the season in a tournament fashion then? If we're not going to worry about a regular season, I said, well, then everyone just get ready to do like one massive tournament and that's it.
I want 16 teams that goes make the conference important. Your conference champs are the top 4 seeds and get buys. The conference runner-ups get in. So there's 8 teams, and then you take 8 at large. 16 teams, there's the tournament.
Yeah, I think that
It
makes
rewards the conference champions and the ones who get to the conference finals, and then it adds 8 other teams who did well during the regular season but didn't get into the conference championship.
Yeah, and do you think the minimum has to be 2 losses?
Yeah. I don't think any team with 3 losses should be playing in the. I don't. Maybe unless it's like somebody that played a really. I think strength of schedule would have to be looked at for a 3-loss team.
Do you think, and that going back to what we said before, like, do you think that could give the advantage to the Big Ten and SEC?
Yes, that's what they want. But really, if a team's playing like Oregon and Ohio State and Michigan and they got 3 losses, then you got another team playing San Jose State and Texas El Paso and Our Lady of the Blessed Glory. I mean, then they don't deserve to be in.
Right. No, that makes sense. So that it's definitely a tough one, but it also kind of brings me back to like what I was saying before. It's just a concern of mine. It's like, man, it just seems like the rich keep getting richer and the poor getting poorer, and how are we going to try to make this work? And it also makes sense for everybody.
Yeah.
But with all that being said, I mean, like I said, this is all just a concern of mine, but hope and pray everything can work out for the best, right?
Yeah, I mean, we got to hope for it because college sports, it's different now. I mean, it's basically like minor leagues,
Yeah,
These
that's
guys
actually
are these guys are pros now, but they're in the minor leagues getting paid.
yeah,
It's sad. It's sad. It sucks. I like the old way, but the old way is gone and it isn't coming back.
yeah. It's certainly not the same, that's for sure. But like I said, is it safe to say like college football is kind of like minor league football now with the NFL?
It is.
Well, maybe not just the NFL, but the CFL and the UFL probably would somehow get in on that action as well.
Yeah. Yeah, because no matter what, there's kids that are not going to be good enough to make the NFL, even though they're decent college players.
No, absolutely, and maybe this gives them a chance, and maybe it'll bring competition out in football. But like I said, we'll just have to wait and see. But those are just my concerns, Carson. And with that being said, thank you so much for coming on my show and talking sports.
Anytime, my friend. By the way, I've watched a lot of the World Cup.
Yeah,
France will win it all.
you're picking France?
They're that good.
Well, you have it here, folks. Carson's made his predictions. Me, I just want to see some good soccer. That's all I care for. To be honest
Watch
with you.
France and you'll see it.
Well, we'll have to check it out then, won't we? But hey, we're pretty much in the knockout round, and
We are. With the first knockout round match was today. Canada beat South Africa. So Canada moves on. Canada beat South Africa 1-0.
Whew. You know, I mean, I do enjoy me some soccer, so, but you know,
It's Canada's first time ever in the round of 16. They're going into the round of 16 where they can get beat up and lose.
do you think America will make it into the 16?
Yes, and then they're going to go down. Sorry, guys, we're still not there yet. I think they'll beat Bosnia. And then in the round of 16, they're probably going to get Belgium. And then that it's going to end.
They're usually really good.
Belgium, yeah.
Yes. But hey, man, hope everyone's doing all right. And thank you again, Carson, for coming on my show.
Anytime, buddy. Thanks a lot.
No, man, I'll always a place for you here, but if you ever wanted to come on.
Thanks.
And also, again, a continued thoughts and prayers to you, man. I hope you're doing well health-wise.
Yeah, I'll be getting my leg soon, my Rams leg. Then I'll have superpowers.
Just like
Miles Garrett powers. No,
oh,
I'm doing. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Nah, man, and God bless you, man, and hope you and Maria are doing well. And for all of you watching, I love you all, and God bless. Be safe, everybody.
See ya.